Hello, this is part 3. I'm Susan and I'm a World Peace Clown. And I've just been discussing in the last 2 parts about my dream of peace and going to La Trobe University to learn about peace. And that leads me to clowning and how I got into this. It was quite unexpected. I saw Patricia Kimmerer-Hill and Shane Yates giving a seminar on being silly and out on the street, and I resonated with that because we had a lot of humour in my family, and I just thought it might be fun to be a clown. So I actually experimented at a hospital and I went around hugging everyone, and it was the most amazing experience of my life, let me tell you. I loved it. It's very natural to love people in my experience. Anyway, going back to La Trobe, where I studied peace studies, I actually dressed up as a clown and went to university, and I thought this is going to be interesting. Let's see how they react. And what I found was, as I would expect to find at a university, people are very uptight. So I was massaging them with my vibrating massager, and I have my orgasmatron, which is a head massage. And I juggle and blow bubbles, and we looked pretty far out at uni, but I really loved it, and it was a good experience. And that was the day I realised I was a world peace clown. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience as a clown. I'll just start with the hospitals. I've had miraculous things happen in hospitals, and I have no doubt that humour heals. They may not be able to prove that medically, but in my experience I've seen people who can't move their arm. Like, for example, in 6 years I saw a lady move her arm because I put a balloon towards her. I don't know whether it's because the clown or the artist accesses the brain from a different trajectory, I'm not sure. But we've had people hobbling down the hall chasing us as clowns. I've seen a guy with cerebral palsy in a hospital typing poetry, and we made such a great connection when I started reading his poetry. What the clowning is saying is that we love everyone, and we do. And what we're doing is really just connecting on a human-to-human level. But with positivity, it actually changes the biological molecular structure in the body. There's a doctor in Japan called Dr. Emoto, and he froze crystals, and he said that when people directed their intention towards the water prior to being frozen, whether they did it positively or negatively, when they froze it, they found the crystals changed. When it was positive, you had symmetrical crystals. When it was negative, the crystals were all over the place. Now, what I know is that we can heal through humour. It's like if you were raised in a family that love you, you get confident, you have high self-esteem, your whole life path is going to change. If you're in a family that are critical and punitive, dysfunctional, which many are in Australia, I have to say, sorry, but it is true, we've competed too much with each other rather than coming together as a close-knit family. Anyway, the clowning is about that reconnection. I've also clowned with Patch Adams in Russia. I was invited to Russia after that moment clowning at the university. I wrote a letter to Patch, and his brother Wildman rang me from Washington and invited me to Russia. And someone out of the blue paid $7,500 for me to go to Russia. I spent 2 weeks there with 40 clowns from all over the world, and it was there that I saw the power of clowning, where we can connect with other people. The joy that we brought was unbelievable. And when I came back to Australia, I decided to write a values-based peace education program, which I would deliver as a clown, which was called Real Hope. And that's an acronym for responsibility, empathy, awareness, love, honesty, oneness, peace, enjoyment, and there's an S on the end, so Real Hope's service. And what I found was this model, when you, if you want to solve a problem, for example, you ask, am I responsible? Do I have the ability to respond? Empathy, can I stand in the other's shoes? Through empathy, can I look at this problem? Awareness, what do I know? What am I aware of with this problem? Love, when I come at it with the energy of love, what do I see? Honesty, if I'm truthful, what's the various factors that I'm looking at with this problem? Oneness, I'm one with this problem, I'm one with these others. That brings another perspective again. And then we've got peace, which is balance, yin and yang. So when we look at through the prism of peace, what do I see when I look at this problem? Enjoyment, when I feel joy, what do I see when I look at this problem? And the last one is service. All those values, when integrated, naturally service comes out. So service is not charity. Service is when you're in alignment with your truth.